I'm Ethan, and I work as a clerk at Riverdale Financial. Every morning, I start my day with a mix of excitement and fear. The office is bright and busy, with the sound of phones ringing and colleagues chatting. My desk is covered in papers, and the clock on the wall seems to tick louder when I'm late. Today feels like a challenge. I can already feel the weight of work stress growing. My boss, Ms. Parker, expects a lot from me, and I want to do my best. I take a deep breath, hoping today will be better than yesterday. As I settled into my chair, I noticed a stack of paperwork piled high next to my computer. Today, I had to finish a report for Ms. Parker, and the pressure was already building. My hands felt a little sweaty. Could I really get this done in time? I glanced at my screen and saw the blinking cursor waiting for my words. I could hear people chatting in the background, but all I could think about was the task ahead of me. Just then, Lucy, a friendly coworker, walked by and gave me a smile. "Hey, Ethan, are you ready for the big meeting?" she asked, her voice cheerful. I nodded but felt a knot in my stomach. I wanted to be confident like her, but deep down, I worried I wouldn't be prepared enough. "Yeah, just working on the report," I replied, trying to sound casual. As Lucy walked away, I turned back to the project. The report was important because it would show Ms. Parker what I had been working on all month. I needed her approval, but my mind was foggy, and the words didn't come easily. I thought about all the times I had made small mistakes in my reports. What if Ms. Parker noticed? Would it upset her? My heart raced at the thought. I pulled up my notes, but they seemed scattered and confusing. Why can't I think clearly? I whispered to myself. The ticking clock grew louder, reminding me that time was slipping away. I felt trapped by my worries, and that made it even harder to concentrate. I decided to take a deep breath. "You can do this," I thought, trying to boost my own spirits. Just then, my phone buzzed. An email from Ms. Parker popped up on my screen. I hesitated before opening it. What if it contained bad news or, even worse, a criticism of my last report? After a moment, I clicked on it. "Ethan, please come to my office when you have a minute," it said. Panic flared in my chest. Did she notice my delay? Was I in trouble? I glanced around the office. Lucy was deep in conversation with another coworker, and the rest of our team seemed busy. My feet felt glued to the floor. I had never liked confrontations, and this meeting seemed like a challenge I was not ready for. Finally, I stood up, forcing my legs to move toward Ms. Parker's office. Each step felt heavy, filled with self-doubt. As I knocked on her door, I took another deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. When she called me in, I stepped inside, and she looked up from her desk, her expression hard to read. "Ethan, I wanted to check on your progress with the report," she said calmly. "It's due today. How's it coming along?" The smile she wore seemed genuine, but I couldn't shake the fear that lurked in the back of my mind. "It's going well, I think," I answered hesitantly, unsure of myself. "I just need a little more time to finalize it." In that moment, I could feel the weight of her expectations pressing down on me. What if she thought I was making excuses? Or worse, what if she was disappointed in me? Her eyes narrowed slightly, signaling that I needed to be careful with my words. "I understand, but remember, quality is important and we need it by noon. Can you meet that deadline?" The way she asked felt both supportive and challenging, like she wanted to help but also wanted me to push myself. I nodded, swallowing hard. "Yes, I will. Thanks for the reminder." As I left her office, I felt both relieved and anxious. I knew I had to dig deeper within myself to tackle the challenges ahead. The day was only getting started, and I wasn't sure if I was truly ready for it. Back at my desk, the pressure seemed to mount as I stared at the pile of papers surrounding me. The thought of the noon deadline loomed over my head like a dark cloud. I had only a few hours left to complete the report. I quickly opened my notes again, trying to focus, but my thoughts raced. It felt like the weight of the world rested on my shoulders. Suddenly, the door to the office swung open, and Ryan, one of the more difficult coworkers, burst in. "Hey, Ethan, have you finished that report yet? We need the numbers for the meeting. Are you going to be ready?" His voice was loud and demanding, cutting through my concentration like a knife. I felt a flush of embarrassment creep up my neck. Ryan was known for his critical tone, and I could tell he was looking for someone to blame if things went wrong. "I'm working on it," I replied, trying to sound confident, but my voice wavered slightly. Ryan stepped closer, narrowing his eyes at my progress on the screen. "You need to hurry up, man. If we don't have those numbers, Miss Parker is going to lose her cool. We can't afford any mistakes today." His words cut deep, bringing more stress crashing down on me. Every time he stomped around the office, I felt my confidence dip further. Why did he have to come in right now? I looked back at my report, my fingers trembling over the keys. "I need more time," I thought, but saying it out loud felt risky. As Ryan walked away, I could sense the ticking clock multiplying my anxiety. I felt frustration building inside me. My capabilities seemed to dwindle as time slipped through my fingers like sand. I took a moment to breathe, trying to remind myself that I had faced challenges before. This time, things needed to be different. But with each typing stroke, my self-doubt echoed louder in my mind. Just then, Ms. Parker called a sudden team meeting. "Everyone gather in the conference room." The command sent my heart racing. What could she possibly want now? I couldn't help wondering if it had something to do with my struggle on the report. I had hoped to finish it before the meeting, but now it seemed like another complication was beckoning me. As I made my way to the conference room, I felt the anxiety like a tightening coil. I couldn't let the team see just how stressed I was. Inside the room, Ms. Parker stood at the front, her serious expression tightening my chest. "I want us all focused. Today will be a busy day, and I need everyone's professionalism." Each word turned into little stones weighing down my determination. Watching my coworkers nod in agreement made me wish I could mirror their composure. I felt so uncertain compared to those around me. And as Ms. Parker began talking about upcoming goals and deadlines, I realized that the stakes were higher than I thought. Not just for my report, but for our entire team. This is not just about me, I realized. We need to work together. I felt a wave of determination rising inside me. I had to step up and be different. I needed to change the way I approached my work. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, I decided to break down the tasks into smaller pieces. With each little step, I could feel my stress easing, and I began to plan how to collaborate with my coworkers rather than feel isolated in my fears. I just needed to take the first step. As Ms. Parker wrapped up the meeting, a new spark flickered inside of me. "You can do this, Ethan," I whispered internally. The challenge wasn't just about finishing the report anymore. It felt like a chance to show resilience and teamwork amid rising pressure. "I'll take it on, all of it, and make the day count." The clock seemed to stand still as I anxiously watched the minutes tick away. My heart raced with every second that passed, reminding me of the deadline looming over me. I stared at the nearly empty report on my screen, feeling the pressure close in like a heavy fog. Today wasn't just about finishing a paper. It was about proving to myself and others that I could handle what came my way. I knew I needed to take action, but panic clutched at me, tying my hands. Just as I was about to type, my phone buzzed again. It was an urgent message from Ms. Parker. "Ethan, I need results from your report in 5 minutes. The meeting starts soon." The weight of her words pressed down heavily, and I felt a knot form in my stomach. 5 minutes? How could I possibly finish in such a short time? Doubt flooded my mind. What if I failed? What if my work wasn't good enough? With each thought came a wave of shame, and I felt small. I could picture the team sitting in that conference room, waiting for me, and suddenly, the idea of letting them down felt unbearable. In that moment, a shadow fell across my desk, and I looked up to see Ryan standing there, arms crossed, his foot tapping impatiently. "You're still working on it? You need to hurry up, Ethan. We can't afford any mistakes." His tone was sharp, and it only added fuel to the fire of my anxiety. I clenched my fists under the desk, fighting the urge to snap back at him. Instead, I took a deep breath, shutting my eyes for a second, refocusing my energy. Then, something inside me shifted. I realized that this wasn't just about Ryan or the report. It was about me learning to embrace challenges, to face what scared me head-on. No more hesitation, I thought. You need to decide right now. I turned to Ryan, forcing my voice to stay calm. I'm finishing it, Ryan. Just give me a moment. I could see surprise flash across his face at my newfound assertiveness. I'll make sure it's ready. We all need to work as a team. With those words, I pushed my self-doubt aside, rejecting the idea of letting fear control me. Determined, I powered through my final edits, focused solely on the goal ahead. It was time to trust myself. I summoned the pieces I had worked on and began weaving them together, each sentence pulling me closer to completion. The minutes raced by, and I felt adrenaline coursing through my veins. In my heart, I silently told myself that I was capable of getting this done. Before long, I could see the finish line. The report was shaping up, and as I crafted the final sentences, the frustrations of the morning melted away, replaced by a sense of clarity. This was no longer just a task. It was my opportunity to shine. With only seconds to spare, I hit the send button. The report zoomed off into the digital ether, bright and ready for Ms. Parker's eyes. My chest heaved with a mix of relief and resolve. I had pushed past my doubts and embraced the moment, an accomplishment in itself. Just as I leaned back in my chair, feeling the tension start to fade, Ms. Parker's voice echoed through the room. Okay, team. Time to discuss Ethan's report. I knew the pressure was now off my shoulders, and I felt prepared to face whatever came next. I stood taller now, ready to accept the challenges that lay ahead, transformed by this critical moment of action and courage. As Ms. Parker began discussing my report, I felt a mix of nerves and pride surge through me. My heart pounded in my chest when she called my name. Let's dive into Ethan's report. It's a crucial part of our project. I straightened in my chair, looking around the table at my colleagues, who were now focused intently on me. I hadn't expected this amount of attention. My stomach twisted slightly. Would they notice any mistakes? Just as those worries crept in, I reminded myself of the hard work I had put into finishing it on time. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my thoughts. Ethan, your analysis here is impressive, Ms. Parker began, pointing to a section on my report. Couldn't believe my ears. The praise felt warm and encouraging, filling me with newfound confidence. Your insights on market trends really stand out. The data is solid. The eyes of my coworkers shifted toward me, and I saw small nods of approval around the table. Unexpectedly, a wave of relief washed over me. They were recognizing my efforts instead of judging me for my earlier struggles. Those moments when I doubted myself now felt distant. I started to lean into the feedback, listening closely as Ms. Parker continued. Based on your findings, we can adjust our strategy, she said thoughtfully, glancing through the pages I had sent. I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride rise in me at the thought of my work making a real impact. It was surreal to think that my late night and stress had led to an important conversation that affected our team's future. I could see Ryan shifting in his seat, his face a blend of surprise and admiration. I felt the tension between us lessen. Maybe today had changed things, not just for me but for him too. My thoughts raced. Did my actions manage to earn me some respect after all? As the meeting continued, Ms. Parker emphasized points of improvement based on my report, but the tone was gentle and encouraging. She asked for our collective input, praising the collaborative spirit I had stood up for. I shared my ideas confidently this time, everyone's interest guiding me. With every question and every suggestion made, I watched my doubts dissolve as my voice felt stronger and steadier. When we finally wrapped up, Ms. Parker addressed the group, thanking everyone for their efforts, but her eyes lingered on me. I appreciate you stepping up, Ethan. Today showed the value of teamwork and clear communication, and I want you to keep leading this project. The respect I saw in her gaze sparked something deep within me. I realized I could tackle challenges instead of avoiding them. As the meeting adjourned, a new sense of self settled in my chest. I learned that facing my fears and making decisive choices could lead to unexpected growth. As my colleagues filtered out of the room, Ryan caught my eye. He smiled and approached. You did great, Ethan. Seriously, I didn't expect the report to be that good. You surprised me. His praise took me aback, but the genuine tone reassured me. Thanks, Ryan, I replied, feeling my heart lighter. Even in that brief moment of connection, it struck me how much I had grown in one day. I hadn't just finished a report. I had transformed into someone who could believe in themselves. This was not just another day at work. It was the start of a new chapter in my life. I walked away knowing that I could face whatever challenges lay ahead, no matter how daunting they seemed. Later that day, after the meeting had ended and the buzz of excitement slowly faded away, I found myself back at my desk, reflecting on everything that had just happened. I couldn't shake the feelings coursing through me: relief, pride, and even a hint of surprise. I felt like I had crossed an important bridge, but I needed to take a moment to understand what it all meant. As I shuffled through my papers, Lucy, who had been my friend and confidant throughout the many ups and downs, came over. "Hey, Ethan, you really received a great response on that report," she said, her voice warm and encouraging. "I could see how much effort you put in. How are you feeling after everything?" I smiled, grateful to hear her kind words. "Honestly, it feels amazing. I didn't think I had it in me to finish it on time, let alone get praised for it." With each word I spoke, the memories of my struggle began to turn into a feeling of triumph over uncertainty. Lucy leaned against my desk, her interest piqued. "Sometimes we surprise ourselves when we push through hard times. What do you think helped you today?" I paused, thinking carefully. I believe it was really about facing my fears and speaking up. At first, I was so focused on what could go wrong, but once I decided to act and not let my doubts control my choices, everything changed. Those words felt important. This realization was a new gem I had gained through the day's challenges. Lucy nodded, her expression thoughtful. "That's a crucial lesson, Ethan. Most of the time, we imagine the worst possible outcomes. You were met with doubt, but also found the courage to rise above it. Do you think this will change how you approach future tasks?" I nodded slowly, allowing the truth of her words to settle in. "I think it will." I realized that showing up and being proactive can lead to positive outcomes, not just for myself but also for everyone around me. We all need each other to succeed. Lucy smiled broadly, and seeing her encouragement helped me feel even more assured. "Yep, you can really set the tone for our team when you lead like that. It shows that being open and taking risks can create better communication. When you share your thoughts, you might just inspire others to step up as well." With that thought, images of Ryan's surprise and the teamwork dynamic at our meeting flashed back in my mind. Perhaps I could develop stronger relationships with my colleagues too, if I continued to embrace this newfound confidence. In that moment, I began to see work not just as a place filled with pressures and expectations, but as a collaboration of individuals bringing unique strengths to the table. As the hours passed and the office quieted down, I spent some time writing down my thoughts in a small notebook. Logging my lessons felt powerful. It was more than just a check on my progress, but a way to remember this experience. I wanted to capture the thrill of pushing past fear and emerging stronger in the end. That evening, as I headed home, I felt a lightness in my step. I knew I still had plenty to learn, but I could also bring my newfound perspective along with me, bringing clarity and confidence into every challenge. As I closed the door behind me, I vowed to remain open to whatever awaited me next. It felt good knowing I had taken not just an important step, but that I was on my way to becoming a more capable and engaged person. The days that followed my big moment in the conference room felt different. I approached work with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Every time I walked through the office doors, I reminded myself of the lessons I had learned. I could feel the shift in my mindset. Instead of worrying about what could go wrong, I began to focus on the possibilities in front of me. The next morning, as I opened my inbox, I found a message about a team project that was coming up. In the past, I might have felt overwhelmed or even hesitant to jump in. But this time, I could feel the excitement bubbling inside me. I leaned forward in my chair and started typing a response. "I'd love to take the lead," I wrote. Felt thrilling to claim that space. Once I hit send, a wave of both nervousness and confidence surged through me. I had made the leap. When Ms. Parker selected the team for the new project, I wasn't surprised to see my name listed as the lead. "Great job showing initiative, Ethan," she said, crossing her arms with a smile. Hearing her words felt like music to my ears, but I also knew this was a chance to put my new skills to the test. Throughout the first team meeting, I presented my ideas with clarity. I could feel my voice steady and strong, and I encouraged my teammates to share their thoughts too. Asking for input used to feel like a burden. Now, it felt like weaving a rich fabric of ideas that could turn into something amazing. I remembered Lucy's words about teamwork, and I wanted to honor that spirit. As discussions unfolded, I noticed how other team members started to react positively. They engaged more, excitedly contributing their perspectives, and I could sense a shift in energy. The collaborative atmosphere made the task ahead seem less daunting. I felt proud of this dynamic, realizing that my willingness to speak up had ignited a genuine spirit among everyone. I also made a conscious effort to offer support to my colleagues. During breaks, I chatted with Ryan. Our conversations felt different now, lighter and filled with genuine respect. "Great ideas in today's meeting, Ethan," he said one afternoon, nodding appreciatively. For the first time, instead of feeling pressed by his expectations, I felt welcomed by his acknowledgement. It opened the door for both of us to share thoughts and ideas without the fear of judgment. On the way home from work one evening, I began to reflect on how far I had come in just a few weeks. I remembered the moments of self-doubt that lingered in my mind like shadows, but those feelings had receded. Change had been uncomfortable, but now it felt empowering. I had learned to embrace challenges, to take risks, and to comfortably express what I thought. With that change of heart, I decided to extend my new mindset beyond work. The following weekend, I volunteered to lead a community project. Speaking in front of a group felt less intimidating now. I had already embraced the thrill of stepping into the unknown. As I stood there sharing ideas on how to improve our neighborhood park, I felt an exhilarating rush of energy. No longer tied down by insecurities, I shifted toward looking for opportunities to learn and grow, rather than worrying about disappointments or mistakes. It was like a door had swung open to a brighter future, one filled with possibilities that I hadn't dared to consider before. From that day on, I promised myself I would hold on to this newfound confidence. I had faced the obstacles and transformed the way I saw my work, my relationships, and, most importantly, myself. Now it was time to carry that spirit into every endeavor, big or small, and embrace the challenges that life would inevitably bring. As weeks turned into months, I began to notice significant changes both in my work and in myself. The days felt brighter, and each morning, I approached the office with a sense of hopefulness, eager to embrace new opportunities. My confidence had grown, not just from completing one successful project, but from the lessons I learned and the connections I fostered with my colleagues. During team meetings, I was no longer the quiet voice in the background. I participated actively, sharing my ideas and encouraging others to do the same. By fostering an atmosphere where everyone felt comfortable speaking, I noticed how our discussions became richer. Suggestions flowed freely, and everyone contributed to building something greater together. The recognition of each person's value became clear. Ms. Parker frequently praised my leadership style, mentioning how the team thrived under this new energy. Her acknowledgement felt wonderful, but deeper than that, I realized that my journey had only begun. I was learning how to balance confidence with humility, embracing teamwork while also inspiring it. Each completed project enhanced my skills, but today's tasks felt different. Instead of fearing challenges, I was eager to confront them. I even began volunteering to take on additional responsibilities, including mentoring newer team members. Guiding them through their own uncertainties allowed me to cherish how far I had come. I found joy in watching them bloom as we worked together. On one particularly busy day, I organized a small preparation workshop for our team, focusing on effective communication. When everyone showed up, I felt excited rather than nervous. Standing before them, I saw familiar faces looking back at me. Instead of worrying about whether I would make mistakes or whether they would judge me, I approached it like a lively conversation, not a lecture. "I want this to be a space where we can all share ideas freely," I began. "Today, we can discuss the challenges we face and how to overcome them together." As the session progressed, laughter filled the room alongside thoughtful insights. Everyone chipped in, and I was surprised at how much insight I garnered from my team. Each moment reinforced my belief that we truly grew together as a unit. Outside of work, I continued to act on my newfound outlook. I participated in community events, engaged with neighbors, and eagerly accepted invitations to join in discussions. Each interaction felt like a chance to deepen my connections with others. I even took a public speaking course, an entirely new step beyond my comfort zone. The thrill of pushing past fear felt addictive, each accomplishment driving me forward. Standing on the threshold of new experiences, I knew I wasn't perfect, but I was definitely on my way to becoming someone more resilient and self-assured. The moments of self-doubt still crept in from time to time, like old friends trying to visit, but I had learned effective ways to silence them. Each time they returned, I would reflect on the progress I had made and remind myself that growth often stemmed from discomfort. As I headed home each day, my heart felt light. The lessons I had learned held clear energy around me. They were no longer just memories of overcoming a single event in my workplace, but they had transformed into threads of my overall journey. I looked to the future with confidence, ready to tackle challenges as they appeared. I understood that growth is a continuous journey, filled with twists and turns, and I was prepared to embrace it all. With each breath, an exciting world lay ahead, full of possibilities, waiting for me to explore.